And since he knows West has a stiff ace of spades, otherwise he wouldn't lead it, then he is a favorite to have heart length. And then you may well go wrong in hearts.
Yes, East has got 4 more cards in spades and West has got 2 more in clubs. So that leaves West with 2 more red suit cards, 7-5. So if you disregard for the moment the point count, which is fair enough in auctions where it's only been an overcall and a raise, the odds are 7-5 that Gru will hold the Queen of Hearts. Right.
Then that's
Holger
the
has
third
got that
issue.
suit right. Well done.
First obstacle. But then there's the third point, David. Would West have let the ace of spades if he had queen to 3, queen third in hearts? That's for the declarer to figure out. Is that likely or not?
Well, slightly less likely, but still something you might try.
In the other room, declarer will have no problems because the opening lead was the 3 of hearts. Well, will he still have to guess the diamonds? He will, yes, he will have to guess the diamonds. He solved the trump problem, a trick one, but he will still have to get diamonds right.
Yes, well that may not be so easy because I think I read somewhere that East had not raised the clubs at the other table. I don't know if that's right. So West is the only one who's done the bidding, and when declarer knocks out the ace of clubs, he may have a tricky guess. It'd be obvious for West to switch to a diamond.
This is clever play in a way, because he really wants West to rough here. On the other hand, he also needs to get some clubs away, you see, because he doesn't have enough tricks without getting some spade tricks. Oh, it's all very interesting. And
however,
Gru may refuse to rough this. Yes, you were going to say that. Yeah.
Gru knows there are no tricks for the defense outside trumps. That's why he doesn't rough. Gru can practically see Queen Doubleton trumps in partner's hand.
What an exciting board, first up.
Yes.
Let's see. Yeah, he is about to go wrong.
Well, that was very interesting to watch. can't blame Declarer. Sure, he's had a good night's sleep, brain cells firing away, and he just went with the count on the heart suit.
Okay, so Bill Font, our colleague doing French commentary, says that Jean Rambaud has defeated the contract in the closed room by leading a trump, actually, and to return a trump when he got in. Good start for France, he writes.
Yes, because the problem was not just to guess the trumps. Obviously, Declarer had to deal with his spade losers on that very bad break. And one discard on the club was useless, because that would only get rid of the sixth spade. So he needed to take two roughs. So that was a pretty interesting play at both tables, and a very acceptable start to proceedings.
So strong club, East-West non-vulnerable now, and they play precision when non-vulnerable.
Harder.
Well, four spades is definitely a fair bid, isn't it? This is, I don't know if he expected more for his brother's one diamond overcall. He doesn't need much. The king of diamonds and out. That's enough for 10 tricks, right? But as it is, partner has absolutely nothing for him.
He still could have four black suit losers with the king of diamonds. Right, I'm told in the transnational final, Lauria and Versace are one down in 5 hearts against Gold and Robson.
So this is 500 against what? Can East-West make 4 hearts? They have to lose a heart, a diamond, and not a lot more. So this is not a disaster. East-West can make 4 hearts.
Yes, but I mean, I think Moss has done pretty well not to bid 5 hearts if he's facing a positive. That's what must have happened in the transnational final. Can they break 5 hearts? I mean, if Declarer wins a spade lead in dummy and plays a trump towards his hand, the ace goes in, and now another spade does not promote the jack, does it? Because Declarer's still got the king queen.
That is dummy with the singleton spade, David. So South can just over after the dummy.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, that's right. That's how 5 hearts went off. So, that was a very good decision by Moss in that case.
Wait a second. Did I fall asleep? Or what happened on board 2? It scored as making. Did it make? Maybe it did. Wow. What did we miss there? It made. East went up with the 8 of spades crashing his partner's king. We didn't even see that, David.
No, so interested in the transnational. Okay, oh well, gosh. I must just relive that on the my results, just to appreciate the moment.
He could still have recovered, could he not? By underleading his ace of clubs? Yes, 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 he could have. He could have recovered, but he played another heart. Or he played a heart, rather. Wow. Well, obviously, Norse was a hot favourite to have the king of spades. He said, well, I better go up now and get my partner in to get that diamond ruff. Then he saw the king of spades. Wow, what did I do now? Well, if I can still get my partner in, I can defeat the contract. And he tried hard. That was not the answer.
Well, looks like there was absolutely no way to guess that. One thing we can say is once you've had a catastrophe like that, you go in with the ace of trumps and drop partner's king. It's not the time to panic. You've got to just accept that's happened and start calculating the defense again from a new starting point.
Drew wants something back now. It's very unusual to double 3 clubs on this auction. Pooh, I wouldn't have. He's probably fuming, you know, and say, well, we need something back now, partner. I want 500 now against 3 clubs, or 300, whatever. I mean, you need to be pretty certain that you can defeat the contract by 2 tricks when you double a part score, like 3 clubs. That will award a game bonus if it makes, because then there's a margin for error of judgment if it goes only 1 down, you see. Then,
Right, well I think we can excuse Moss for going in with the ace of trumps. But if this double of 3 clubs misfires, Grew will have no excuse. That looks like something that's just triggered by one bad board to another, and no excuse really for players at any level.
well, the double has also warned Declarer. He knows clubs are 4-0.
Now, I think Moss can probably guess that Volker only has one heart, or he might have bid two hearts in response to partner's double. Only a 5-2 fit, yes, but he'd be playing a level lower. And remember, if you opt to play a level higher, to benefit from that, you need to make two tricks more. You need to make 9 in 3 clubs when you would only make 7 if you went off in 2 hearts. So Moss knows that his partner's a big favourite to hold the ace of hearts, and he does well to go in with the king.
Well, I'm not sure. It's best to go in with the king, actually. Let's see. He cannot play it. He knows De Clara is going to play on cross rough, right? He can't play a club. They probably can't defeat the contract anyway, but it would have been better to let West win here.
Well, he can't play a club without giving a trick away.
No, but he can get in to switch to a spade, to get a spade through at this point, you know, setting up 2 spade tricks for the defense. You see, East can't touch spades.
Well, I still think it looked good to go in with the king of hearts. If you let partner win with the ace, then De Clara can run the queen through your king and set up a spade discard. See, they had so many boards in front of them, 32. Okay, they get one defense wrong and lose a big swing on 2, but to allow 3 clubs double to be made, maybe with an over trick, is completely unnecessary.
Right. So misguessing trumps you know, on board 1 didn't cost the French, even on that hard lead we discussed. You see, De Clara misguessed diamonds later, and now he was shortened and went 2 down, actually, as a result, and France gained 2 imps for going down in a contract they could have made.
Yes, well, he was helped. I mean, he was not helped, rather, by the fact that East had declined to raise the clubs, and that may have been a wise move, because East had got 5 spades and South on his left had opened a spade, so he didn't really want to sort of encourage playing the hand their way or give any information away. And because of that, it was natural for South to play West, the only bidder, for the 3 aces.
Well, in fact, De Clara can afford to play 1 round of trumps now, take a finesse, marked finesse, goes after the double, and then, when it transpires that clubs are 4-0, then he can just play on cross rough.
Imagine the sinking feeling that Grew had when he saw that dummy go down. all partner had promised really was a good diamond suit, and dummy goes down with single ace and ace queen of clubs over the king. Anyway, you could say that it was deserved in a way, because it was quite unbelievable double really.
Then 5 hearts in the other room on board number 2. That's a contract that can be defeated, but it doesn't really matter because France had won the board anyway. It's only like 3 imps. You know, whether you make your contract or not, you see, when your teammates made their hopeless contract. Say 5 hearts goes 1 down, that's 50, and that will still be 12 imps. That's what happened. It has been scored now, 12 imps as we predicted. France up by 33. And this is another crucial board. I feel sorry for the kibitzers who arrived late, David, after board 3. They missed a lot.
Well, a good number of them may not realise that they're starting an hour earlier. I'm much indebted to you, because if you hadn't told me, I'd probably be doing one of my famous 1 hour late appearances. Mind you, that was a few years back. I used to have that unfortunate habit.
Did it ever happen to you that you arrived 1 hour early and had to log off again and come back? You know, time
My
change
lips
and
are
stuff.
sealed.
Summertime, winter time, or whatever you call it, daylight saving.
Well, it's a fantastic piece of software that the view graph schedule adjusts to the country of the person looking at the schedule, particularly if they're watching from India, where they have time difference that's so many hours and a half, or in Nepal where it's so many hours and a quarter. Entirely understandable that declarer should play this slowly in a contract as important as this doubled into game.
Well, our friend Stanley, up of course at 4 a.m. even now, and he says, this could end up being the last round or the last set.
Yes. Well, I had a
I don't
message
think
from
it
him.
will.
No.
But a diamond lead would defeat it. Your doubleton lead, David. He cannot afford to have the ace of diamonds knocked out at trick 1. Wow, what a hand. Yeah, the West, you may argue, well, depends on who has the king of diamonds, obviously. The king jack of diamonds. If you reverse the north-south hands, then you want east to be the declarer. This is the most amazing hand. Wow, wow, wow. Now it's an easy make.
Well,
That's tough.
leading a doubles and low doubleton is not anything magical against a slam. That's usually against a game contract when you're hoping to set up some honours in partner's hand. So you can't say that just because doubleton leads are normally a good idea that they should lead one here, particularly as we don't know what the bidding means. If 4 diamonds was natural, then you wouldn't want to do that. So it looks like the spades have not been shown and they've just agreed hearts, so a spade lead is fine, or a club lead. Anything could be right, except usually a trump is not very good, so that was rather a blind guess, particularly as we don't know quite what the bids meant in the middle of the auction.
Getting one great board after the other. And that would be a swing in the other direction, I predict. West will not aim for slam in the other room.
Well, it's not that unlikely, is it? I mean, he's got a massive strong hand, and and they've got a heart fit, so...
Yes, opposite 22-23, David. Without 4 hearts. I assume East would have super accepted if he had 4 hearts.
Well, we don't know what they're playing. Some pairs play that they only bid 3 hearts if they've got a fit, which is a better idea, really.
I'm asked, why didn't North double 4 diamonds? Well, he can't really double 4 diamonds, can he? If 4 diamonds is natural. Which I think it is,
Well,
unless 3 hearts confirmed a fit. Did it? Did Al write that 3 hearts confirmed a heart fit?
no, he didn't, and West hasn't got a Q-bid in diamonds anyway. But doubling 4 diamonds isn't a very good move when you've got a 2 club opener over you. You would only double if you knew that someone was Q-bidding an ace, and you certainly, when you've got values in the black suits as well, you've got no reason to demand a diamond lead, so I don't think that would be a good idea.
No. The Americans need this badly. They lost another 11 on board 3. 3 no trumps went 1 down.
Well, it's not very likely that South would lead away from the Queen of Spades, as I see it. He's got no reason to expect discards, and that would be a very wild lead, so declarer may play him for the 10 by playing low from dummy, I don't know.
Besides, you don't even know that you want a diamond lead. If father leads a club, is that just fine?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
even when all you've got in diamonds, when we've seen cases where it's misfired and they've been able to bid a grand slam which was on a diamond finesse, which they knew was right because North had doubled some diamond Blackwood response or something. So you've got to be you've got to know what you're doing. Must be a hand where you're pretty certain you want that lead, and that's not the case here. And a hand where you're not likely to help declare more than your partner. Right, now declarer will not know where the 10 of spades is.
That's true. Diamond opened in the other room by North. Good luck to you. East-Wester. Getting to 6 hearts. Well, 6 hearts by West is better, as it turns out. But I don't think they'll get there.
Well, if it goes a double past 2 hearts, what has he got? He's got 7 points and 5-4. Yeah, well, he probably only bid 1 heart.
He hasn't made it yet.
No. Well, he's got 1 loser in each minor. Oh, sorry, no, he's got more than that, hasn't he? Because he didn't strike any luck with the diamond 10. So he's got 3 losers, hasn't he? So it looks like he may need 5 spade tricks.
Yes. The contract is 4 spades in the other room.
Well, is he going to have any option other than to finesse the 9 of spades?
Let's see. Does that give him enough? Say he plays a trump to dummy and takes a spade finesse. Then he has 5 spade tricks.
He would just draw trumps on that line, yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
It's no good playing south for 3 to the 10 or 4 to the 10 because he'd only have 4 spade tricks after taking a roughing finesse. So I think perhaps if the 10 of diamonds had forced the king, then he would only need 4 spade tricks and might have a chance of guessing it wrong. Well, they've been tricky boards, and that's reflected in the fact that they're only halfway through board 4 after 3/4 of an hour. Looks like he's going to make it though.
Very slow, this table, isn't it? I'm asked. Well, it's been very difficult boards. I don't blame them. Show up. Right. You can claim now.
Well, it made no difference as it happens, but it's a little bit surprising. So a big chunk back on that one. Well done to them.
Yeah, 13. It will be eventually, not scored yet.
Well, if that one had gone wrong, they'd lost the amount, or however many it is, they may have been in serious trouble. Not sure, I think I saw yesterday they may play 4-card Stayman facing 2 no trumps. In that case, North might have just raised to 3. If you play 5-card Stayman, it's fair enough to check if partner's got a 5-card major, but it's not that likely. And you're going to give a little bit of information.
Board 4 scored now. Amazing, 25-13 after 4 boards, 38 imps. This will probably not, this will not create anything. It's just a normal looking 3 no trump contract. Whether you open 2 no trumps or not, you'll get to 3 no trumps, and that is an easy make.
Yes, the fact that they can get 13 back just on a slam hand like that reminds us of how unwise that double of 3 clubs was. You didn't have to go mad. There are lots of boards left that can produce vast numbers of imps. But perhaps if we had an explanation of all the bidding to get to that slam, we'd have known that they went equally mad on that one, and that time it did pay off. Well, we were in need of a board to sit back and recover our breath after that pretty tough start, pretty dramatic start. So we don't mind some sort of time waster. Let the heartbeat return close to its normal rate for us, if not for the players.
I was going to ask you if you're feeling okay, David. The other day you had a 1 no trump contract in the bulletin. Today you have the 2 spade contract. What's happened to you? Part scores? You never write up part scores unless they're doubled, do you?
Well, when I put in the bulletin that I'd been writing for 40 years and had never reported a 1 no trump contract before, that was absolutely true. So this was in fact, this one was so interesting that it was almost as interesting as run-of-the-mill game? No, it was pretty good. I wouldn't put in one no trump. Remind me what the two-spade contract was. There must have been something that happened at the other table.
It probably was. I didn't read it, but I saw
Oh yes,
they ended
no, I
up
remember.
in two spades at one table. Yeah.
No, I remember. This was a very good bid made by Gru, yes, and I said that my last board will be a part score, which may surprise you, but I was very impressed by a bid made by Gru. And it was very, very nice. It was a free one no trump bid 5 count, but it described his hand so well it enabled them to find a club fit. And they did make 2 spades in one room and 3 clubs in the other, yeah, so that was what I described as a great little bid, one no trump. His partner had doubled after a start of one suit past another suit, and the opener had made a support redouble, and now he came in with one no trump. He had no support for either red suits, which after a club of spade double his partner had suggested, but he did have 4-4 in the blacks and stoppers there. So one no trump described his hand to some extent, but the fact that he did shown stoppers there allowed his partner, who had a 5-card club suit, to compete with 3 clubs, which they couldn't do at the other table. So that was 6 imps conjured up from nowhere. Very nice.
Well, this is a good hand for Paul Marston's theory that you should lead your shorter suit rather than your longer suit against no trump. I never believed that, but it is true that a spade lead is better than a diamond lead.
Right. Well, that theory, despite the fact that Marston has played at world level, is complete nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Of course it's better to lead from a 5-card suit in the long run. People say, oh, well, with a 4-card suit, partner's more likely to have length. Well, if you think that's the way to work it out, you should be leading a 3-card suit.
A singleton. Partner rates to have many cards there, David. You lead a singleton against no trump.
Right. Well, I forget if I've mentioned this online before, but Lou Hobhouse is the new editor of English Bridge, making a very good job of it. Maybe it was almost a year ago she took it up now. But she sent me an email saying, well, since I read your book on opening leads, David, yesterday at the club, I had a very weak hand, so I led a singleton against 3 no trumps. And my partner had 6 cards in the suit, and we got it off, and they said to me, how on earth did you know to lead a singleton? Of course, I don't think the book exactly recommends leading a singleton from a bad hand, but it is right that you should lead from short suits, because you're not likely to get in from your, if you lead your long suit and you've got no side entries. But anyway, she was very pleased at all the praise she got at her local club, so well done. The point about leading 5-card suits when you're usually defending 3 no trumps we're talking about is you need 5 tricks to break the contract. If you can make 4 in a 5-card suit, you only need 1 entry to get in, and then you make 4 there and 1 elsewhere. Or even if you have to give up 2 tricks, then you may get in twice and make 3 to go with 2 more. If you lead a 4-card suit, then I'm not going to be setting up so many tricks. So even if the square has only got 1 stopper, you'll only make 3 tricks there, and you'll then need another 2 tricks rather than 1 to get it off. So that's why 5-card tricks are the real killer against 3 no trumps. 6-card suits are not so good, in fact, because if they're in 3 no trumps and you've got a 6-card suit, you can bet your life your partner has a singleton, and that'll make it difficult to set the suit up. So 5 is the ideal number, and if you don't have a 5-card suit, maybe you lead from 3 low, or 3 to the 10, 3 to the jack, something like that. Maybe you'll be lucky and find your partner with 5 cards there.
So 4 spades is the normal contract here. It has 2 losers.
Of course, 2 spades nowadays will promise a 5-card suit, because you just have to begin with a double to look for a fit for your 4-card suits. I remember when negative doubles first came in, which was a long time ago. I was playing against the famous Sharples twins in some tournament, and they didn't play negative doubles, so I mean they would just bid 4-card suits. Because you could always tell, because they sort of hummed and hawed a bit before bidding it, and if they had a 5-card suit, probably more quickly. Hope I don't do them an injustice.
Negative doubles first appeared in, well, the first version of negative doubles in 1959, I believe. They were called Sputnik doubles then, were they not? The Sputnik double. One of the minors,
right.
1 spade over chords, double, to show hearts.
So 59 was the around about the time of the Russian Sputnik space probes, was it?
Exactly. I think it was 59.
So as Roland explained, non-vulnerable, they're playing precision club, and well, everyone knows the meaning of 1 heart. Well, they do. They do when Al Hollander is at the table. 12 plus high card points, just in time for me to explain it. Thanks, Al.
Yeah, now they're relaying their way to a slam, I presume. It's a very good slam. I'm talking about 6 clubs here. Let's see, maybe 6 no trumps is even better. Yeah, you have 12 tricks, right? You could
If I'm wrong and entirely foolish, I'll leave the next 5 minutes of commentary to Roland on his own. Step response that he would have done if West had bid 3 spades. So Al will shortly say, what complete nonsense. No, actually, he's explained very well that 3163. Okay, so he knows all before 3 trumps. He knew partner was 3163, so he knew of a 5-3 club fit. But of course, he had a minimum count and wanted to suggest 3 no trumps.
Yeah, but does he know about the Queen of Hearts? Systems, they can ask for those cards. Like some relay systems, they can even ask for jacks, would you believe?
Well, normally I would say that I didn't expect them to be able to judge that any grand was good on these cards. But, of course, they may think they're a bit behind. And they're, what, halfway through the penultimate set, so if they can count 12 trot tricks, they'll probably know that they've got some extra chances. Maybe even know that the Queen Jack of Spades will give a finesse for an extra trick if the diamonds don't come in, that sort of thing. They had 7 clubs, well done indeed. That's brilliant, isn't it? Because they know that the diamonds may come in if they're 3-3 or the Jack falls. Well, you've got to respect that. You know, even if there was even if they couldn't count the tricks, at least they're absolutely brave, aren't they, to bid it? So that's absolutely brilliant. Said before that I admire bridge at the bravery at the bridge table a lot.
Feinschmeckers may claim that the top spot is actually 7 clubs played by East, where spades are protected, because if you get a spade lead, is the communication to take a finesse, obviously.
What a very good lead. Well, there are various famous hands at world level where people have led away from the King of Spades when they knew the ace would be in dummy. But you have to be pretty sure you know what you're doing. Could easily give it away. Anyway, Declarer can see that he can ditch the spades on the diamonds. Or dummies on the hearts. He hasn't unblocked the Queen of Hearts though. Right, I wonder if he's... No, he's draw trumps, right.
Yes, he needs that Queen of Hearts as an entry for the diamonds once they have been set up.
Yes, I see. Well, what a good slamming. What a is brilliant. Well done, lads. Fabulous board.
Rather tough to match in the other room. The reason I think it will be very tough is that West is not quite good enough for a jump shift. He'll open a club, East will respond to diamond, and West can't really jump to 2 hearts. It's not that good, so he'll just bid a heart, and now it becomes very difficult to get to a Grand Slam.
How many clubs will that show at the other table if it goes a club, a diamond, a heart?
I'm not sure. I think one club shows 3+.
What, and then they rebid a heart when they've only got 3+ clubs, do they sometimes?
I don't think they bypass a major to show 12-14 balanced if they have that.
Yes, that's a good point by Bill Jacobs, that the cards not lie in very helpful fashion. The King of Spades was offside, the diamonds didn't come in. So 7 clubs seems to be the only making ground. So
well,
that makes 7 clubs even more wonderful.
From one slam to the next. It's absolutely amazing. I haven't found the diamond fit yet. 4 clubs is natural. You see, it's so difficult now for North-South. You see, with all that interference, all those spade bits, how they're going to find the diamond. They can't. They really can't.
Well, North knows they've got at least a 5-3 fit.
Well, yeah, he could bid 5 diamonds now, I suppose. Then they will get there, if he does, because North is marked with no more than 1 spade on this auction.
Yes, well that's certainly true, because they might be 6-4. But it's a bit surprising East bid 4 spades, really. Red against white. So it's tricky for North. I don't know, he might not want to attempt 11 tricks on what he's heard.
And they don't have much against 4 spades, although East-West are vulnerable. They have 2 heart tricks, a diamond and a club. It's only 1 down, isn't it? Or maybe 2 down. Yeah, that's a club rough. they can find it. If they can find it, they probably can.
Well, diamond lead
So
and the
that's
club
500.
switch.
Yeah. No, but South would be on lead, so he'll probably
Oh,
lead
South's
his
on lead, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
that's right.
even then, 500 is cheap against 920.
Well, it's not so easy to bid 6 diamonds anyway. You're bound to get similar preemption. Up to the 3 level anyway. I don't think East had a 4 spade bid.
No, he didn't, but it just put more pressure on North South as it happens. And I don't think East would bid 4 spades in the other room at this vulnerability. Made it so tough for business. Yeah, he'd like to bid really. He's the one looking at a singles and spade.
See, if East passes, South can just rebid 4 diamonds, and now his partner might bid, don't know if he'd bid 4 spades or 4 hearts. Perhaps he thinks his partner can tell that he's got a singleton spade already, and he should show the heart control.
Now that is a good bid. Well, offering partner choice of a minor suit, right? Clubs or diamonds. And Volker may just jump to 6 diamonds now. Once he knows partner must have at least 3 diamonds for his 4-note trump bid. Now that's a very good bid, David, don't you think?
Well, it certainly is opposite what South has. That will be a miracle, almost equivalent to bidding 7 clubs on the previous one if they get to 6 diamonds. Will remind us of the high quality of what we're watching, which wasn't obvious at the start of the set to some extent. That's very difficult, isn't it?
Another swing. Could have 2 swings in a row in the American direction. So don't give up hope just yet, Stanley. From bad to worse, maybe, although it won't cost much. On board 8 in the other room, they bid 7 no trumps. Can't match. It needs diamonds to break.
Well, diamonds to break or the spade finesse if they don't lead a spade. Or the jack of diamonds to be doubleton. Well,
Yes.
well, that's pretty unlucky.
You don't have the communication to. Yeah, you can't know. There's no squeeze. So we'll probably see 16 imps very soon. Maybe not at 16, 1540. I think so.
So players tend to just bid 2 hearts on that sort of hand. It's not really worth any more.
Still, I think I have a sub problem. Can 7-no trumps be made? South is under pressure. Obviously, he has to discard, you know, on the run of the clubs. Anyway, it's played by West, and the lead was the 8 spades. I'm told.
Right, well, all looks a bit hopeless for a squeeze point of view, doesn't it?
It is. Can it make? What can it make still? I don't think it can make on a spade lead. Club lead maybe.
Well, South is guarding 3 suits, but I don't know, declarer can throw the 9 and 2 of spades away. Well, it just all looks so hopeless because...
No, wait a second. Now you go up with the ace of spades and you cash all 5 clubs. What do you suggest that South throws, David?
Yes, it's interesting. You've still got the Queen of Hearts as an entry, haven't you? Well, he can't throw a diamond, obviously, so...
He can't. He can throw 1 spade, only 1 spade.
1 spade,
but
1
he has to
heart.
find 1 more discard.
No, he can't throw a heart, yeah.
Huh. Isn't he triple squeezed?
Well, it's a little bit awkward because the hearts are blocked, you see. So diamond's an entry back to the hearts.
Oh, maybe he can afford to throw a heart then.
Maybe he can afford to abandon the heart suit.
Yeah. The jack will still not fall when declarer overtakes the queen. That's true. Sorry, I missed this very interesting 2-heart contract. Still analyzing 7-no clubs.
Well, he can't overtake the queen, can he? Because he needs the queen as an entry to get to the diamonds.
So South has
blockages
to start
around.
correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
yeah, but I think
it's a good one to look up.
in Lille, tied first with Bob Brown.
And believe me, they were they were difficult hands. So Bessis has a very good hand, and he bids 3 spades to get partner to choose a game. Volker doesn't think Queen 10-9 is enough to play in no trumps. Gone for 4 hearts.
This won't make 3 no trumps, however. No trumps might make, David. Yes, 3 no trumps is a make.
Yeah, 5 diamonds, yeah. Well, that was tricky for Volker.
Yeah, indeed.
Suppose
And 16 inch
partner having
scored.
ace queen of diamonds made no trumps good.
See how Declarer played it in the room. If you look in movie, he went 1 down eventually for the 16 imps. I predicted it would be, and you see now only 15 imps in it. And look at board 9, slam opportunity for USA and the own, and all of a sudden we're close to a tie if they bid it. That would give them another 11 imps if they bid 6 times.
One bulletin came out this morning. In fact, it's available about 7 p.m. yesterday, I think. And they'll have a final bulletin, which for some tournaments is a fairly slim one that just gives the results of the play on the final day. But on this occasion, they'll have a lot of reports left over because it's not that easy to submit reports before 3:30 on the day of the actual play. So that'll be a pretty solid bulletin, but it's unlikely to include reports on either of the 2 sessions played today, because they wouldn't be able to write them in time, so I'm not writing one today. My report on the 5th set of this match yesterday will be in the final bulletin.
Well, you're kind of lucky, David. You would need 10 pages to write about all the interesting hands in this set.
Well, the worst thing would be you'd be under incredible time pressure. I mean, I normally spend about 2 hours and a quarter, 2 hours and a half to write up 5 hands. It sounds like a lot, but you often have to spend quite a bit of time on deep finesse. Then you've got to check everything and make sure that nobody's going to laugh at some stupid mistake you've made, because they don't have much time to check it in the bulletin office, or they do as good a job as they can. Certainly the bulletins look wonderful, just as they did in the European Open. Loads of fresh photos that have obviously been taken during this tournament to form the whole thing. And of course you can get bulletins from the main site if you just go to Google and put in Bermuda Bowl results to 2017, then you'll find it off the first page that comes up.
Now, French supporters will be relieved to hear that USA did not bid the slam on board 9.
precision club again, one club. North-south don't have much to compete with, but in any case they take away a little bit of space. We'll see if that costs them eventually by helping, say, Moss to know that his partner will now have a diamond.
Well, six spades is perhaps is probably a make. Well, just in the slam, I mean, I think you will make it if you are in it. It's not a certainty, but it has a chance.
Yeah, it's not really a good slam, is it? We can see the trump slide perfectly, but with North having longer diamonds than South, that's not with the odds. And of course, don't just need the Queen on side, you need a 3-2 break as well. And you've still got some work to do looking at your 3 diamond losers in the East hand. Yeah, so that would really be pushing it.
Yeah, you have to do the right thing in clubs as well. I mean, you need tricks. You also need tricks. And you can't ruff all those diamonds, so you need club tricks. So you need the club finesse with a certain heart loser. Swingy, maybe not board 10. Other than that, we don't. How many pushes have we had? 3. Yeah, 5, 6, 7.
Well, yes, on board 11 we're expecting a swing on that one, really. If they do find their way to 3 no trumps.
And the way to play the club suit is not to cast the ace first, because then you cannot handle Queen 4th on sides. It's the correct play to take a first round finesse in clubs. I'm talking about 6 spades. They aren't 4, so forget about it.
Well, 6 spades would be interesting to play anyway, if you've got a hard lead.
But if you're in it, you're bound to make it if you play it correctly. You take a first round club finesse, and then you have 12 tricks with this spade position, obviously.
Yes, well, I was wondering if there was any line where Declare could play ace and king of spades. Trouble is he can take 1 club finesse and then he's got no quick entry back to take another one if he leaves the Queen of Spades out, so maybe he would have to finesse in trumps.
Two imps to USA on board 10, 2 hearts make
Well, looks like North will return a trump, doesn't it, with a probably got a count on the east hand by now. Now declare I can rough a club good. Still rough one diamond and discard the other.
There's some confusion as to when they resume. In the bulletin we have top of the hour, that would be 1300 hours Central European time, 12 noon in the UK, but on the BBO schedule page I read 15 minutes past.
Well, they've had to bid to just the right spot on three big hands, haven't they? 6 hearts, 7 clubs and 3 no trumps, which they've managed to do.
7 clubs in this room was great. announced in the bulletin. So in 1 hour and 18 minutes from now.
So we've said that Crew and Moss were playing precision on a deal. Here they're vulnerable and they're not, so they're playing standard. Looks like the defenders will just take the ace of clubs. If necessary, the Jack of Diamonds is available as an entry to the club suit. Well, I'm asked why should East-West want to play precision club non-vulnerable and standard vulnerable. It's because the main weakness of precision club is that you can get a lot of preemption against you when you're vulnerable and the opponents are not. Take away space. You open a club and they shunt the bidding up to 2 spades or 3 spades before you've even mentioned your longest suit. So they're happy to play it when they're non-vulnerable, but not when they're vulnerable and are likely to get messed around by the defense. Now that's pretty hard work to have 2 completely different systems, and the advantage of it is marginal, but you can see they've got the reward because they're certainly one of the star players in this USA2 team that's had such a great tournament.
Well, I believe that you should play 2 different systems to the opponent's vulnerability rather than yours. Same with playing weak or strong no trump, David. I think you should look at the opponent's vulnerability. When are they more likely not to get in? When they are vulnerable.
Yes, but we're talking only about playing at the very top international level. Even to play 2 ranges of no trump, which was more or less like standard ACOL for some players 50 years ago. They'd play a variable no trump, that's what it was called. You know, when you were non-vulnerable you'd risk a weak no trump, when you were vulnerable you'd bid a strong no trump. But even that is not a good idea because it affects all your suit bidding and your no trump rebids, and it's much simpler, unless you're trying to eke out just the tiniest delay, much simpler to have one system that you really know and that you play all the time. For the same reason, some people like exactly the same defense, bidding defense, against a strong no trump and a weak no trump, because it's less of a strain on the memory and they can thoroughly sort of master all the ins and outs of their chosen defense, just keeping it to one particular type of defense. Here we can see that 2 hearts must be a trans playing transfers after an overcall. Such a wonderful method. Wow, declarer's gone off in 3-no trumps, I hear, on 11. Well, many thanks to Mike Hampton for that information.
Yeah,
Anyway, I was saying
information, but you know why he went down? He went down because he played for spades to be 4-4.
Right. It's such a good method to play transfers because you can come in on a weak hand with spades, say, bid 2 hearts, and if partner bids 2 spades you can pass it, whereas if you bid 2 spades, or one whatever, if you're not playing transfers, your bid will be forcing and you can't stop in the minimum level of your suit. So that's the idea. Say if West had a good diamond suit, partner had over club and there's a spade overcall, you just transfer into the red suit you want to play. And if you've got a good hand, you can transfer in and then carry on bidding, just like transfers opposite 1-no trump. So that's why more and more applications of the use of transfers. If they double your bid or if they overcall, you play transfers by responder. It's a very good method.
Yes, useful space principle, where you can bid with fewer points because you can pass the 2-spade response. Would you have liked to be in 4 spades here, David? Just looking at the East-West cards?
I suppose it's reasonable. That's because it's a very good fit, isn't it? Queen of Hearts goes well with the Ace-Jack to 4. Ace-1 of Diamonds goes well with King 3rd, maybe. Nothing wasted opposite the singles and club.
Poor Voltaire. But okay, they have a safe haven in Diamonds.
Well, South can pass now, can't he?
Yeah. And if North has equal length, he can bid 2-no trumps. But when he has 5 diamonds, he can bid that suit.
That was a bit of a strange double by North, wasn't it? He had a void in partners.
Look here. This is inexplicable. We saw that the other day. I believe you were there, David. It was Bulgaria. The Bulgarian East, who reopened with a takeout double from his point of view. At least it was. He had a singles and spade. And his partner passed, and that contract made with 2 over tricks vulnerable. 70. Were you?
Probably not. But I mean, this is, on the face of it, just a complete aberration by North-South. I don't see that North's got a double. I mean, what does the double mean? It can't possibly be a penalty double, surely. And why do you want to make a takeout double? The most likely thing is partner will rebid their hearts. I mean, he's got a void heart, and you've got defence against spade contract, but not enough. Well, I don't know. They don't recognise what's happened on the North-South bidding. The pass by South just means that he doesn't want to choose between the options and asking North to choose, not that he wants to defend a contract. How can South possibly be saying he wants to defend when North has got ace 10 to 4 trumps? I can understand that Bessie may be nervous of bidding 3 diamonds. Well, I don't know why he should be. His partner is probably got a singleton spade, something like that, and 5 or 6 hearts. So I mean, why couldn't he just bid 2 no trumps to choose a minor, or bid 3 diamonds? Better, and it'd probably be a 5-3 fit. How's that have played?
Well. You could argue that South Pass said, well, partner, I'm happy to defend, and that South should not have passed, that he should have bid 2 no trumps.
Well, I've already explained that Bessie can know for sure that his partner's pass doesn't mean that. When he's looking at 4 trumps, how can his partner have good trumps?
Suppose South could have, I don't know, but after the redouble, surely East is not void in spades, so South can't have 3 spades.
Well, West has shown 6 spades.
Understand, but 2 spades pretty much forced, wasn't he? Redoubled, if he was void in spades.
No. Well, the whole thing is such an incomprehensible screw-up, and it's a waste of our time trying to unravel it. It seems to be a moment of madness by North as well. I don't see that he had any bid over 2 spades anyway with a void in partner suit.
Yeah, that was my point, also as Bill's point. Maybe South should have bid 2 no trumps to avoid this.
Right. Well, I completely disagree with blaming some aberration that you've made on saying no trumps. I wouldn't have had that aberration. It's not South's job to make bids so that partner doesn't go mad. You pass and let him choose something. You don't need to bid 2 no trumps to choose something. Well, this sure has been an eventful set anyway. Quite a lot of big mistakes. Quite a lot of very brave bidding to bid to high levels and pull imps back. Plenty going on almost every board, and the standard has been mixed.
Right. It has been confirmed officially that the restart will be top of the hour. So in a little over an hour from now. Well, it's just similar to what we saw the other day. Area against USA2. It was also Brad Moss who was in 2 spades, doubled. Vulnerable, making with 2 over tricks.
Wait, what? Fancy having 2 boards where people are doubled into game in a Bermuda Bowl set, final penultimate set. I mean, both of them are pretty absurd, really.
Yeah, here it was redoubled though. But
oh well, that makes it okay. Sorry. Yes.
no, I just wanted to say pressure. Pressure. It is pressure, you know.
Well, am I glad I'm not a French supporter particularly. Imagine the French people watching this and seeing huge, totally avoidable board like that go by. Well, I know because I've suffered similarly watching England teams over the years. Of course, we still support what, even when Southampton lose in the League Cup to the Wolves reserves from a division down below that I had to suffer on Wednesday night. Okay, it was only £8 because it was a minor game, but it's pretty awful when something bad happens to the team you want to win. Right, this is a one-no trump contract and it's the penultimate board, so I'm going to thank very much Michaela Salvato, our wonderful view-graph operator. Thanks very much to her. She's been totally faultless and we appreciate her hard work. Next, I'd like to thank very much the number of people who came along to watch this. I know what you've been doing. You've been watching a board here and leaping over to see what they did at the other table, because at one stage in about 30 seconds our viewers went down from 3,200 to 2,300 and soon they came back again. Well, you've had a pretty entertaining session to watch. Many thanks to Roland. I've done so many sessions with him over the years, and we've been on every day tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing the last session too, even though that'll annoy my wife a bit because our son is coming to visit about halfway through it. Never mind, last session of the Bermuda Bowl, I want to see it as much as you all do. And finally, many thanks to BBO for providing this wonderful platform. I remember once in the past there was some rival show in town and they wouldn't allow BBO to show the final of the Bermuda Bowl. That was so annoying. Someone, I can't even remember who it was, someone from the other side of the world. Anyway, now, this time we've got BBO doing it. Hooray! Really great for the whole of the last 2 weeks to watch this excellent tournament.
Thank you, David. Yes, accidents happen. I wrote an article about accidents the other day in the bulletin. Accidents at the bridge table, like this, and of course also the Bulgaria double of 2 spades.
Yes, but this one would be very difficult to write up, wouldn't it? Because really you need the players to give their verdict of what happened and why they got it wrong. Now, Stanley tells me they've got 42 people crammed into their living room to watch this on their 40-inch screen over in the USA. Well, of course, we know which team they're supporting, and I hope they've enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I don't really need the explanations. You know, David, the one deal I wrote about at two different tables, there weren't 7 no trumps at one table, right? Of ace king, two suits. You don't really want to ask East West what went wrong for them there, do you?
No, that's right. In a recent book, I wrote up a lot of disasters and
No, I didn't have the auction. I didn't have the auction at the table where they stopped in 5 hearts, with Queen Jack 10 to 5 opposite of Void, where they were cold for 6 diamonds and 6. No, that was probably an exclusion screw up. You know, with the Void jumping to 5 hearts on point, and the other hand had been naturally early in the half, and then past 5 hearts. She thought that 5 hearts asked for suit quality.
just imagine someone tuning in now on their trunk contract and they glance over at the scorecard, see 740, 1440, and then an 840, and say, oh, perhaps I should have got up a little earlier. Perhaps I shouldn't have pushed the button on top of the alarm clock and say, leave me alone. Well, amazingly, in the other room, 2 spades has not been redoubled. It's not been doubled either. And the last board is also a gentle one. Well, we don't mind that. We've had more good enough, good for some of us. But, of course, I always remember to take my heart pills, particularly when I'm coming onto BBO. So I was protected by the finest pills that pharmacists can provide. So I've survived okay, and very much looking forward to the last set, because this is one of the great finals, isn't it? When you think 2 absolute top teams that were expected to do well 2 weeks ago and have indeed done incredibly well, and they're entertaining us with some fabulous boards, many thanks to the great dealer, and plenty of entertainment, plenty of instruction. Very good of them to show us some mistakes that we should try to, to avoid ourselves next time we venture down to the local club. So I hope you'll all be joining us when the final session of the top championship in the world begins.
Sorry, I was kicked out, David. But I thought I heard something just before I crashed. Did you say that 2 spades was not doubled and therefore not redoubled on board 14?
No,
I thought I heard something like that.
I said that it wasn't redoubled, nor was it doubled.
Yeah, exactly.
Some players in England, they always open one club on balance 12 to 14 hands, and they also open on a doubleton if they've got 18, too much for a strong no trump. So maybe Moss play that they open a diamond on such hands, whether they're 12 to 14 or 18 balanced, I couldn't say. They're playing standard now, vulnerable, so I don't quite know why they've opened the head of the club. The written commentary is saying that they expected a club opening. So one no trump seems to show 18, 19. He's actually got an upgraded 17, and West has made some try.
Not that I expected them to bid it, but I think they can make 5 clubs. Or is that... they can actually make 5 clubs.
Well, it's not right, that suggestion that he may have forgotten what system he was playing. He wouldn't open the diamond playing precision, would he? He's got a strong club opening.
Yeah, not here though. He's vulnerable, so they play 2 over 1. But it's just impossible to get to the club game.
No, I was referring to the suggestion by written commentary that East might have thought he was playing precision when he opened a diamond, which is not correct.
No, I'm told that you have 3 losers in a club contract. No, I don't think. You can get your diamond loser away on the 3rd spade, and you'll only lose a knot.
Well, it's pretty lucky anyway.
Fantastic set this. 17 imps exchanged. Drama all over, I have to say, and we have a fantastic final set to look forward to. won't be a lot in it. Wow, fantastic.
Well, actually, that's one thing I was going to mention to you. I mean, 70 imps are exchanged, and that represents what you said you'd seen somewhere, that 4.5 imps per board was average, because when I looked at all the sessions yesterday, it wasn't that high at all. You know, I think we've had more imps exchanged than average, seeing 70 today.
Well, isn't that roughly 4.5 still?
It is 4.5 here, but that's because
Yeah.
in double figure swings. I'd have thought it was nearer 3.5, the average, if you look at the sessions we've had overall.
It is very strange, I agree. But we have to believe the operator. She's been very good. I get this message. This is very strange. The bidding, the play, the defense. But the rest is great. You have to admit.
Right, well, the Kubica points something out which favours your estimate, that the total is 461 imps in 112 board or something. Yes, that is over. That's about 4 imps a board, yeah. So it's halfway between our two figures. Studying the BBO archive.
That's all for now. See you later. 45 minutes.
Okay.
We'll all be here. Even it will do one more set. Wonderful. Thank you, David. Thank you all.
Thanks, Roland. Very enjoyable as always. Thanks a lot. Bye.